free market capitalism that makes this country great. It is the crony, false capitalism or monopoly capitalism that has brought us to this point. It's their system. They get the blame. So we're here to not just let the banksters, the Democratic and Republican parties, frame everything as anybody that doesn't like corruption on Wall Street as being basically a communist and socialist. We are Americans who believe in the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and we're here stating the real problem and explaining that Michael Moore and the rest of them don't speak for us.
Is it any wonder that right now you have the left-wing media, like MSNBC for example, who is labeling the Wall Street president as liberal?
It's just like they don't want Americans getting together. Old, young, black, white, old, religion, liberal, conservative. That's what they're afraid of. So they label the Tea Party racist white people. So folks who aren't white will log in and be part of that. And they label the Occupy Wall Street as communists so that people think, well, if you protest Wall Street, you're a communist. These are the communists that steal the money. Just like Stalin and other people like that. And so they want to play games with all the labels. Yes, they're trying to brand it liberal conservative when it's a populist constitutional issue. It's truly classical liberal, like Thomas Jefferson, more liberty, more freedom, smaller government. That's true liberalism. Liberalism isn't street corner cameras and socialism, people in the government goal and government spying on you. Classical liberalism isn't neocons and war and torture. The Republican Democratic Party. Awesome call.
Hold on, sir. Let the host. Hold on. Let the man sign it real quick.
Alex, real quick, I want to get your thoughts on Herman Cain, because Herman Cain has risen to the top of the crop now, and he too was on the Federal Reserve Board in Kansas City about 15 years ago or so. What do you think about this guy?
Herman Cain was financed by the high-powered Skull and Bones Pillsbury family. Sure. And he's a globalist. Look, I was told by insiders inside the Republican Party 15 years ago. They said, some of us are going to try to fight this, but they said, beware, they're going to sell a free fair tax, a sales tax for VAT as a replacement for the income tax. But then when it comes time, they're going to keep the income tax, claim they're going to lower it, and introduce a new tax, which brings federal control over everything you do. There'll need to be an ID card when you buy things, because people with lower tax percentage will be exempt to sell it. And that'll affect everything you do. And Herman Cain and others have been the ones that always drive that. Same thing in Europe with their central bank, the private central bank. They're wanting new VAT, new sales taxes. Greece is revolting against that right now. And so Herman Cain comes up there with all this conservative rhetoric, and sounds like a down-home guy criticizing people, and he comes out of the Kansas City Fed, arguably the second or third most powerful position after the New York Fed. I mean, this is a high-level guy. One thing to be on the Federal Reserve Board, he was the Federal Reserve head in Kansas City, and he's pushing all these new taxes to, quote, pay off our debts. It's the Federal Reserve's debts. And so Herman Cain is a ringer that I knew they were going to try to send in against Ron Paul if Rick Perry failed. First, Rick Perry, former Al Gore, chief of staff in Texas. Rick Perry, carbon tax supporter. Rick Perry, Hillary Care supporter. Rick Perry, Bilderberg Group attendee. Rick Perry, NAFTA, all this garbage. We exposed him, he started falling. So then they roll in the next puppet, the next fake Ron Paul, which is Herman Cain. Herman Cain is super bad news, just like Mitt Romney, just like Rick Perry. He's even more high level inside the Federal Reserve. So Herman Cain is another counterfeit.
Yeah! Thank you for your service, Alex.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
My wife, hi, nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Our son Jacob, who's here as a freshman in high school, made his own sign.